so excited. There he is. He's frozen now.
Look at his face. He's like, oh, there you go.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Hello? Uh-oh. Where's Hannah?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Is this crappy internet in Wales?
No, I was actually, one thing that I've learned since this lockdown is I don't have any recording equipment, no lighting, no nothing. It's ridiculous.
You know what, though?
So my son brought me a microphone today.
Oh.
And obviously it didn't work. So if I stick it in, can you hear me?
Hold on, let's try. Stick it in. Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah? Yeah, keep talking. Hello?
Hello?
No.
Hello?
It puts you off.
Then there's some kind of
If he sticks it in, it puts us off. Things Oh, this is shitty day, so I'm sorry.
This is starting. Hello?
Just gonna put it out there.
Is that Penderyn?
Oh.
Who knew that?
Me.
Well done.
Which one? Oh. Hey, look, we have similar
Hey.
posters.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the pasta we did.
I feel like I need to go get my Penderyn. I've got it in. I brought it back from Wales. Gwen Hughes-Jones took me through that distillery. We went on a tour.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
100 years old.
100 years
Wow.
old.
Not
Really?
this one.
Well, cheers to that. How are
Cheers.
you?
I'm well, actually. Fed up, but well.
How many jobs have you lost already?
Everything. Well, I broke my leg in January in Bilbao.
Whoa.
Right.
I was going to the Metropolitan Opera to do the Flying Dutchman,
Oh,
and
yeah.
whenever I go to New York, I make sure that my back is in order. So I decided on a morning of a performance that I'd go for a chiropractic session, and it just rained in the morning. Getting to a zebra crossing, and these little yellow, orangey, bubbly tiles that for the blind.
Yeah.
I just went, slipped, did a nice pirouette and triple fracture.
Oh my God.
Straight to the hospital, then came back to Wales, was operated on by the Welsh rugby surgeon for feet.
Oh, nice. Woohoo!
Thank God.
And of course, January, February, March went.
Yeah, I was supposed to see you in Chicago.
Yeah. So then, of course, they did 3 of the Flying Dutchman performances, and all were returned home because of the lockdown.
Oh, sorry.
Are we chugging? Are we chugging? I've had 2 cancellations today. Cheers.
Oh, Welsh Millennium Centre has just
shut down.
Announced it's closed until April. 250 people lose their jobs.
Yeah.
But nobody's ringing from the Welsh Millennium Centre to ask, can you do any concerts, or can you come into the theatre, do something?
Nothing?
No, I asked Gwen, because Gwen lives right down the street. I said, why haven't they, you live right there. Why couldn't they get some recording equipment in there? They love you there. Why aren't you there doing a recital or some kind of thing to raise some money? And it's not even being discussed. Nothing's being discussed.
I want to take you back down memory lane. This is the very first time that I met you.
Look at us.
Oh my God.
Believe that?
Who are those people?
That was the pension fund gala with Neil Schickoff and you.
Yeah, you jumped into that. I remember.
Remember that?
Well done. And how, wow, fantastic. Pension fund gala, which begs the question then, why don't we do these kind of things? Why don't singers get together and do a big hedge fund for singers? You know, something has to happen.
I'm ready.
You know, some people get sick, some people can't get back to their careers. I think this pandemic, I think, will open new ventures and people getting together to do things for your own family.
Yes, I agree. I think it's a great idea. And you know what, like you say, I think it's going to be kind of nationalistic in that, you know, Canadian singers were going to sing here in Canada, Welsh singers are going to sing there in Wales, American singers are going to sing over there, just because it's easier. You don't have to travel. And I think people are still scared about all of that, about transferring the virus and all of that. And at least for a year, if not two.
But let's talk about, you know, people are losing work now for a year. You know, it doesn't matter where you are, if you're beginning your career, in the middle of your career, or in the top of your career. There are things that are nipping at your heels. You know, the taxman for us, of course, we submit our tax forms and we need to pay those bills.
Yeah.
And if we're not constantly earning, and of course our taxes are all over the place, they're left in cities and countries, and you know, it's really difficult. I think the first phone call we have to make after the lockdown and when we start working again is to our accountants, so that we get.
Oh yeah. Duncan's dealing with all that right now.
They're gonna come after us.
Oh. Yeah, for sure. You know, I was just reading in the paper here, because they gave PPE money out for even people like me who have incorporated myself. But a lot of people, we contacted the bank, but there were so many uncertainties in those rules that we said, no way. And a lot of companies, actually, small businesses, decided to give the money back because no one could give them a straight answer of when they were going to have to pay this back, what
or tax.
Yeah, so now you're going to get taxed. There's billions of dollars sitting there now because people were so afraid of what the repercussions were going to be. Okay, yeah. Can we, I know you won't remember this because this is a very long time ago when I was a child.
Oh, no, are you going there, Carrie?
But I met you on the Kennedy Center Honors when they were doing Jimmy Levine, and you came out and sang the Torre, what is it? The Carmen.
Toreador?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wasn't that like a life?
I remember that. I had big lamb chops because I was doing Sweet Pod in Chicago.
Yeah, you were hilarious.
I very loudly into Glenn Close's ear. And of course, it was the time of Fatal Attraction.
Yes. And wasn't James Taylor there too? Wasn't James Taylor singing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I was a kid. I was a young artist.
She just stood behind me and tapped my shoulder and looked at me like this.
You were hilarious. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. And I couldn't believe I was some kid up there singing Carmen, you know, like,
So how are you? What's been going on? What have you been doing during the pandemic? We should actually interview you.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, absolutely nothing, because running after a 3-year-old girl, Lily, our daughter, Hannah is about to give birth. From today until the 3rd of July, it could happen.
Oh, wow.
There's nothing we can do apart from read our emails that everything's being cancelled. I got an email from Paris yesterday. Elisir d'Amore is gone. I've got still maybe a possibility of Elisir in the Royal Opera House end of the year, but I think that'll go as well. It's desperate. I hate it. Of course, people think, oh, you're home, you're with your family. Well, my family travel with me all the time. So, but yes, it's nice to be in the house, but not to hear. You know, I keep in touch with some of my colleagues, and they're getting everything, and people not telling them properly. You know, they're getting to hear about it, and
no,
it's so incredibly random, everything that's happened. And I don't know about you ladies, but I'm questioning how much Britain likes the arts at the moment, and of course I live in Wales. You can't hear it on the radio, don't hear it on the Of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everybody's looking after their families and trying to stick to the rules that a government has set. Wales is behind England, so
Yeah. Are you in phase 1 still, or are you in phase 1?
Yeah, we're kind of still. You can't move out for more than 5 miles. The restaurants are not open. Okay. But that'll quickly change. My son works for the First Minister in the press department, Thomas. So my eldest boy. So I get how incredibly busy this First Minister is. He doesn't know how he does it. And of course, he's Labour as well. So it's very different to what Boris Johnson is doing. Oh. So I don't know about the arts. Who's going to come and save us? Maybe Bach, Mozart, and Handel will bring us back in there.
You know, it's the $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion question, isn't it? How's it going to go forward? I just got off a call with San Francisco. That was my job that was canceled today as well, Chicago. And Matthew Schilbach says San Francisco, not only are they running a huge deficit because of this, but they don't see opera ever in our lifetime getting back to the way it was before the pandemic. And you just sit there and you go, wow.
Yeah. On the other flip side of the coin, Sandra, before Paris cancelled my Elysée, I was offered Leporello in Spain.
Right. And they're doing. I have 2 concerts in Spain. So
who's really going to change the fact that even before there's a talk about a vaccine that has to be trialed and everything that comes with it? But certainly, I remember doing 7 performances of Boris Godunov at the Royal Opera House. Okay, not once did I leave the stage door. I was going to sponsor dinners. I was going to, just everything to raise money. And where's this money going that we're raising, and why isn't something being talked about these young singers getting some sort of money? I've been doing a birthday things for Waspikani in the Grange Park Opera.
Oh yeah.
And she charges people £700-800, and it goes to singers and technicians. So I've done about 10 maybe.
Love it.
And I've done a little concert from home for them as well. That's all I can do. But I hope that they do see this money, because they'll need it.
Well, I mean, from what I understand and from what I've read, what's going on over there in Wales and in the UK is that even the schemes that they have available for unemployment, there's a lot of singers and a lot of artists, a lot of technicians that are falling through the cracks because the rules don't really apply to them, which blows my mind. So somebody doesn't have something right over there in the paperwork, or however it's all being, I don't know, processed. And the other thing.
And where are these patrons that we went to all these dinners with? Where are they? That's a very good question, Bryn. And
yeah, hopefully with time, everything will come out of the hiding and from behind the rocks. And I'm sure there's going to be something positive. A total rethinking, of course, like I just said in the beginning, that here at home I don't have a camera, a microphone, lighting, nothing, absolutely nothing. So when we had to do certain things in Wales, like songs for people, or it was done with an old iPad that was running out of batteries, constantly recharging.
The Met Gala too?
And I'm very impressed with you two. I know, Sandra, that you've been learning now about the internet and everything, and Kerry's been editing like mad.
Yes, let me tell you.
You were very impressed with her. I think Norman Lebrecht was quite impressed as well.
Norman, you know what? He was a great interview. He was a lot of fun. We didn't know what to expect. We'd never met him before. And we were like, okay.
I listened to that. It was interesting. And to see that his platform is succeeding as well. And he said, 70,000 people? So are we behind in doing things like this? I know people like, Anna Netrebko's brilliant with her Twitter and Instagram. Karika Matila is becoming a big star with her
Twitter
platform. You know,
but how do you feel about social media? Because you know what, you don't have, when we search your name, just going to tell you, not much comes up. Is that on purpose?
You mean on social media, not on like...
No, just on anywhere.
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm Jones, Bryn T. Jones and everything. So no, but I'm really bad. I'm really lazy at it. I should be doing more.
No, it's not lazy. It's generational too, I think. And you know, I'm 51, and I didn't know much about social media until the pandemic started. Really, I was horrible at it. I didn't know what Zoom was. I didn't know what any of this was. And like you, I don't. If I turned my camera around and you saw my lighting right now, you would laugh.
Well, I'm 25, and I just never really saw the point of social media. So,
yeah.
No, I didn't want everybody knowing my life. I didn't really want to be on social media. I mean, there were some things I posted for friends and family, and people were wondering where I was singing, and something I thought was fun. Just wasn't important to me, even though management kept yelling, like, "We please, please, please." Now I understand more why they wanted that. But no, this has been I don't know. Sandra and I were like, what the hell are we going to do? We're sitting at home for how many hours? And we had a lot of fun talking on the phone and laughing and crying and whatever, drinking. Obviously, day drinking is a thing now. So we thought, let's put this on the internet.
I'm happy that you brought up the drink. So I saw that you had a couple of drinks. This is a whiskey from Penderyn, and Penderyn means the head of the bird. They are a distillery that could have been maybe 100 years old, but somebody restarted it. There is an icon series if you like your whiskies, and you can collect 7 of them. So one whiskey is named after me and the role of Falstaff.
Really?
So collect it. There's one about Dylan Thomas. There's one about Gareth Edwards, the rugby player. There's one about the American Declaration of Independence, 1776. Really? You know, Thomas Jefferson was kind of Welsh background. And of the 56 men, I think 15 of the men were from Wales in the signatories.
Really?
Bottle for them. Now this one is a Madeira cask, Madeira finish. Very smooth, very creamy. Notes of honey. It's well-rounded. Vanilla, sweet apples. So cheers. I like to, since I went for a tour in Glenlivet, Glenlivet say the amount of whiskey you have, you should add the same amount of water.
Yes.
So I like to use these little slates that I put in the freezer, and I just drop them into the glass without breaking it, and then it keeps it cold and doesn't add water.
I love that.
So I was told it was just a drop of water, I thought, just to bring out the flavor, but it's more.
Wait.
Try and put
What was that Welsh word? What was the Welsh word?
Iechyd da, good health. Well,
Iechyd da. Did I say that right?
Iechyd da. Yeah, we're hoping everybody has it now for the next 16 months.
I have a silly question for you.
Yeah.
How does a farm boy from Wales become an opera singer? Like world-renowned, a sir, everything knighted.
Well, obviously it's quite a journey, but I think it starts with the passion that your parents have in singing, and the amount of miles that they would travel in their little Austin car to take their son to compete in different places in Wales.
Wow.
I think the church was very important in the fact that in the farming community, people never saw each other during the week, but on a Sunday, they'd all converge on chapel and all dressed up beautifully. And the kids loved to meet each other. So, and singing was a staple diet, you know. They loved to show off in the chapel. You know, if there was a high tenor in the village, he'd be singing those high notes, the descants. And there'll be 6-part harmonies all around the chapel, which is brilliant. And I think my music school teacher was very important in telling me that I should maybe think of pursuing singing. And there was a choir that the youth of Wales would go to as well. that also gave me a little bit of impetus and more of an interest. I was so interested in football and basketball and tennis and cricket and rugby that singing somehow took a back seat, but then it kind of took over those. There was a balance in school that, you know, other pupils didn't like people that sang, so they could be rather cruel.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, now, of course, it's gone around full circle and these horrible kids joining choirs and stuff now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went into a numerous fights because what I did, and look, that's why my nose is partly bent.
Oh.
So, you know, so I showed my anger was on the rugby field. Although I would never succeed in rugby, I wasn't brave enough. But I should think that's why I started that journey. But why you succeed in it, I have absolutely no idea. Who drops that bucketful on the top of your head? Hard work, dedication, maybe. Bit of luck, I think, also comes into play.
You love it. You really do. You are a stage animal. Of all the people I perform with, you walk on stage and you become a different person. Do you think that?
Yeah, I was afraid of it in the beginning. I remember when I started singing in places like Salzburg and Vienna, for instance, when you just go in there and rehearse for 2 days and you're on that stage. I would really listen to the directors and the conductors, and I'd made sure that I'd listen and I'd correct myself if they said do something differently, because I think conductors like to see progress in singers and to get to know them. So in the beginning, I was too rough, and I would answer back and say no. And I soon learned my lesson. That's not the thing to do in this profession. But yeah, once I know my geography, Sondra, you know, hopefully when we're all on that stage, we all have something that we enjoy. I'd hate to think when I open that stage door that I would exhale every time that I walked into an opera house, where I just inhale. I just love the whole camaraderie, the whole, you know, that team effect. Together, everyone achieves more. Thank you, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, right.
It's true, though.
No, it is. I find myself missing that the most. I say to my husband all the time, I miss my people. I miss my people in the theater and on stage and everybody, the crew. I mean, you name it, all of them. It's just there's a camaraderie about that just it fills something within you, and it's what I find I'm missing the most. It's why we're on here talking to you, because we want to know what's going on and we want these conversations. I mean, it's a small bit of what I miss. So thanks for doing that with us today.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers. So what's your... Yeah, go.
Okay.
Go, Karen.
This is total fangirl asking this question. What was it like to work with Emma Thompson? You've done several projects with her. Am I right?
There it is. Yes.
Yes. I love that.
It was amazing.
I only did Sweeney with her, Kerry. And I was supposed to do it in New York with Patti LuPone many years ago, but I had a back operation.
Okay.
So I couldn't do it, and I knew it wasn't going to be like a concert version. I think it was going to be a full-blown real production of it with Lonnie Price directing it. So I didn't do that, and then the New York Phil decided that they might bring it back, and that Emma Thompson was being maybe earmarked as somebody that could be interested. And she said yes. Of course, she asked her mother first, and her mother said, yes, of course you should do it. And then, of course, she did ring a couple of her friends that had sung Mrs. Lovett, and they all warned her to pick up the score pretty early.
Okay.
So when I got to London, we rehearsed where the English National Opera rehearsed before we went to New York. We had a week up there, and we just did our scenes. once she starts rehearsing, it is 100% committed, and until she thinks she's got a grasp of what should be happening in her movements and in her dialogue and in her singing, and putting that equation together, she was never happy. And these rehearsals would go until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Whoa!
Non-stop.
Wow.
It's like being on a film set, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
So, of course, I was singing away without a microphone, and she was turning her head, and I was getting all my dialogues wrong.
Oh.
And but an absolute lesson in professionalism, how to work on a character. I wish I'd have asked her more about my own dialogue, but I didn't ask her for some reason before New York. So when we got to New York, we knew our scenes, didn't we? So that the ensemble of these magnificent Broadway singers,
amazing.
With wow, how does Bryn and Emma, they just perform it immediately? And Emma and I were going,
exactly.
That's awesome.
I have a question for you on that. Do you think about different vocal production when you sing, say, Sweeney Todd as opposed to opera?
No, because that's a question. Whenever you tend to sing these roles, like Sweeney Todd is quite dramatic. It's very, very operatic in its in statements, and it's declamatory, and this is a torn figure that has one of the biggest losses in his life. So from the beginning, you have a certain vocal color that you want to keep it, but then it's guided by who is on those buttons at the back of the theater.
Cool.
If I was singing close to Emma's voice would go up and mine would go down. So it's kind of leveling the voices. So I just sing as I've learned the piece, and I let them turn the switches, the volume.
That'd be fun.
What was meeting the Queen like? Was that a good thing, or was that a positive thing, or you're like, meh?
Well, I've met her on many occasions, and it started mainly through Princess Diana, being the Princess of Wales, and Charles, the Prince of Wales, and of course, Prince Charles is a big supporter of the arts, and he works for close to 80 different. It's like a big palette for him, different colors of different institutions, from orchestras to choruses to putting on evenings himself in Windsor Castle. I did one brilliant evening that he had the letters that Queen Victoria had written with Richard Wagner, and these were read out in that concert with sections of the Wagnerian operas that he would like to be heard that evening. But in the sense of meeting the Queen, I was given the Queen's Medal for Music, and that was second after Sir Charles Mackerras. So I thought, what have I done to accept such an accolade? And then of course you're given the MBE, and that's something not just for singing; it's your work in charity, I think. And you accept these. Some people in Wales think that you shouldn't accept them, and that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huge issue. The monarchy and Wales.
But I thought this is for the hard work and dedication of everybody around me, and we're all like these sportsmen. We like to have a good team around us. Surely we like to have coaches and language. We might not have dietitians and
it's COVID. Listen.
And hairdressers and all that things. But it's something so important that you build something and you're recognized for it. So I was given the MBE and the commander of the British Empire then, and then of course I was knighted, and that was the day.
Whoa.
You walk into Buckingham Palace and there's this colonel that's meeting you. so Bryn, you're up to the left, up the stairs, and stay in the room. So then they tell you how to address the Queen and how to walk up to her and you go on one knee, and then if she talks to you for a little while, you listen intently and try and answer the questions short and concise. And when her right hand is given towards your hand, that means the conversation is over. You reverse and you go out of the room. Whoa. So the Queen was talking with me for about 5 or 6 minutes. You know, she was like, where are you singing? And she's constantly interested in where you've been and the houses you've sang in. And of course, she's an important figurehead for all the places that we sing in, the Royal Albert Hall, right. The Royal Opera House, you know, the golf courses that I play, you know, Royal Harlech Golf Course, Royal Porthcawl. So, and she's only tiny. So when she gives these awards, it takes 50 minutes, and she is like a Rolex watch. She will not go over that 50 minutes.
I've heard that.
You know, 100 people get awards, and different from policemen to firemen to performers to gardeners to nurses, doctors. So
cool.
It is a very daunting experience, of course, but I've grown to accept how important that family is. You know, even in the Trooping of the Guards 2 days ago in Windsor Castle, when she came out for the first time, you could feel the whole of the country were really involved and thinking, yes, she's doing it, and she's keeping 2 meters away from her helpers, and she's enjoying the Welsh Guards doing their marches.
I saw that. Yeah, it is cool. You know, I always I giggle with The Crown, you know, the Netflix series, when President Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy met her, and they totally screwed the whole thing up about, you know, they said all the wrong things. Like, so American to do that. So just for you to tell that story, that just made me laugh thinking about.
I'm going to show you a picture now. This is what I keep.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow. So you can look, you're almost kneeling and you're still taller than her.
Oh, she's tiny.
Amazing.
She's so tiny. And I was thinking, is she going to swing that sword from left to right?
Have I been good? Have I been good?
That's what, you know, I went to an opera with Charles, with Prince Charles at Welsh National Opera. He was there, and I remember because I had bought tickets, and they reached out and said, he's going to be there. We need your passports or whatever it was, just to make sure you weren't going to be a nutter. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun evening.
Of course, Charles always says, my mother's let me use the ballroom today. And we've done countless charity events and
love it
for the Royal Opera House there. And actually, it's quite nice sometimes going to Buckingham Palace because you have to give your phone away. And you actually speak to the orchestra and the chorus and all the other performers. So I think it's something that we enjoy going to in Buckingham Palace. It's so exciting.
They when I was there working for ENO, it was when the palace was open, when you could go through and do the tour, and she had all of her dresses that she had worn over however many years, and it was I did the whole thing. I mean, I was there for hours. I did the horses and the whole thing. I just had to, and it was quite amazing. It was quite amazing to see that. So.
Oh wow! So there's so many people that, you know, if I did in 1999, I did the opening of the Rugby World Cup, and Shirley Bassey and I were to sing one of the songs associated with that. And I spent 3 or 4 days with Shirley and you know, going to rehearsals and trying to learn the song and recording the song, and then going in her tour bus with all her gowns and you know, get to know these people for a short amount of time. Even last week, Sir Tom was 80 years old, Tom Jones.
Oh,
so I sent Mark a text, his son, just to say, what do you get your dad for your birthday? Because my dad's 81 next week.
Oh, wow.
Oh, happy birthday, Dad.
Yeah. Happy. He's still as healthy as a nut, and still on the farm, of course.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, working on those dry stone walls. Incredible. And you know what? He's got a better voice than I ever have.
Oh, I love that.
Really? You should put something up with him.
Yeah.
On social media.
Yeah, good idea, actually. Yes.
Yeah, that's the best birthday present you could give him.
Yeah, good idea, Sandra.
You're welcome.
He's a little bit like Ivan Rebrov. He's got a huge bass voice and he can sing high as well. And he doesn't know that he can do it.
So of all the people you've met, all these amazing names, what is one moment besides getting knighted? What's one moment that really sticks in your head? Or two moments, I'm sure you've had millions of them, but or one person that really you went, wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, funnily enough, Kerry's just mentioned one of those days. It was the Kennedy Center Awards, and before you do the concert, you go to the White House for a little drinks reception. Well, unfortunately, the people don't see you as who you are before the concert, So there was one man that I was keeping an eye open for, and that was Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
Because my dad absolutely loves Clint Eastwood, and we watched countless westerns together. And these movies, they're from the 60s. How good are they? These trilogies that he did was just, and of course when I saw him in the room, such an incredible looking man, and so well dressed, and he's everything that my connection with my father is all through Clint Eastwood.
Oh, wow.
On top of that, of course, he's a musician. He likes to play the piano a little bit like Anthony Hopkins, and he plays golf. So it was right down my alley. And you'd think that I would have endless questions, but I met him and I just couldn't say anything. So I just wish that I would have said so, but that is one of the moments where you meet somebody that you put on such a pedestal. Yep. And we meet these people in our business, they're always coming into the opera house.
Yeah.
But that was pretty special.
Yeah.
I could see that. I was kind of like that. I'm going to tell you a little secret. When I first met you, I was a little like,
did you have a crush? Did you have a girl crush?
Oh, Canada, my home and native land.
I did.
True love.
Oh, Lord.
I was a little bit like that. I was suddenly like, oh my God. What do I say to him? But then you just were like, okay, whatever. Now, Carrie, go. Sorry.
Okay, all right, let's go back to something serious. I know that the pandemic has just changed everything, but before that, how did Brexit affect you and working and traveling and all that kind of stuff? Had it yet?
Yeah.
Absolutely didn't affect me at all because, I voted to remain. I'm European through and through. Most of my work is in Europe. And I wanted the freedom to jump in Vienna or Munich at a drop of a hat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it was like that day just after my birthday that Trump actually got into the White House. I woke up and Hannah and I looked at the news and we thought, oh goodness, great, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Then of course Brexit came, and then Boris got in, and it's what's happening in the world?
Crazy insanity.
So, as for Brexit, no, it didn't affect me at all. It was done. The people spoke. They voted to go out, and it is a matter now of just picking yourself up, dusting yourself down, and getting the best deal for the UK.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a question for you about the Welsh language.
It's difficult.
It's difficult. And I know that you're a big proponent. You are in a position, you talk about Welsh. Well, oh my God. Hello, Sandra. Cheers.
Oh my God, I love you, girl.
Bad day.
Oh my God, I love you. Okay.
Oh my God, I was crying right before this. So yeah, there you go. Take two. Yeah. You talk about Wales and the language, and you're a big proponent of it. And I know that your position, you support Wales and all of that. Talk to us about that and how important being true to your country is.
Yeah, well, before my name is said, there's that sentence, Welsh-based baritone. So Wales comes first every time.
Yeah.
That's not my choice, but
right.
Of course, one success in the singing world is supported heavily in Wales because people just love to sing. And of course, I wear it on my sleeve, and I am an ambassador to Wales through music. Nothing else, not politics, not farming, not agriculture, not golf, not tennis, it's singing. And if I, for instance, accept my knighthood, Sir Bryn, I'm hoping that in the future that Sir Bryn might have a little bit more gravitas with working with young singers or having a foundation, which I do have. And I still feel as guilty that I'm not working as much as I can on this. But yes, I come from Wales. I live in Wales. I speak the language. My parents live in North Wales. We live in South Wales. Mm-hmm. We're like little birds. We do love coming back home to Wales. Welcome to Wales is one of the best things that I've ever had from the beginning of my career when I was coming home. Mm-hmm. But on top of course, loving where I'm from, I guess we could have lived anywhere we would have chosen to. We could have gone down the route of the Italian singers and gone to live in Monte Carlo. and have reaped the benefits of the taxation, or I could have gone to live in Vienna, where they have great deals apparently as well for the artistic world. Mm. I had thought that maybe Ireland could represent the artistic world and give us some kind of breaks in the taxation laws, but it was mostly for the visual side of the arts. But yes, Wales is something that I absolutely am wholeheartedly in love with. I love this country. I love the language. I love the people. I love their honesty. I love their generosity. And I even love them when they're abroad, and when they have this word called hiraeth, which you cannot translate it, but it's a deep, deep longing for their country. And I've seen people that have beards down to their bellies, that they miss their country so much. And once they're in Wales, they just shave it off. It's a breath there for them.
Any advice now for young artists? Oof. I know.
From my own perspective, and I mentioned it a little bit to you, I think when you go into an opera house or a concert hall and you work with people, you have to listen. There's no way you can say no, and you have to try and work out this equation and be pliable. And I think that means that you'll enjoy it more, and the people that are trying to teach you certain things will also enjoy it a little bit more. And from my singing teacher, Rudolf Pierne at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, if he gave me a song to learn by the next week, and if I hadn't done it, he would kick me out of the singing lesson. And I soon realized if this carries on, I'll have no singing lessons. So he made sure that I was learning 2 or 3 songs by memory every week, which was very difficult. Mm-hmm. But of course, you could be clever and just learn Litany by Schubert, which is just 1 page, 3 verses. Easily done, but difficult to sing. Mm-hmm. One of the hardest first phrases ever for a young singer. But yes, listen, concentrate. For goodness sake, concentrate. Otherwise, you will not be invited back. And that's a sure sign of anybody's success, to be invited back, surely.
Yeah. Do you think that, what do you tell young kids that, at least, I don't know how it is over there, but in this country with opera houses shutting down left and right, it's almost like most people are going to have to find other jobs until the meantime, and it's, I think it's going to be a struggle for kids that are coming out of young artist programs or going into young artist programs, getting out of university, to hold on to the hope that this business will come back. So I think there's I don't know. I wouldn't even know what to tell them. To be quite honest, I don't even know what to tell myself other than you probably need to keep your voice in shape in case somebody calls you and you need to go do something.
I would say, Kerry, ride it out. But make sure when you come back, you know your stuff. You sing as brilliantly as you can. You kiss the people that you love and you look after your family. And I think things will work out, you know. I've heard through the grapevine that Zurich Sweeney Todd will still work because the orchestra will play in a different hall.
Okay.
And the chorus will be in a different hall. So the music will be piped into the opera house and you have a show. So what's stopping the Royal Opera House from doing exactly the same? Put the chorus in orchestra rehearsal 1 and then put the orchestra somewhere else and we can still give a performance even if it's the sound, they have to work on it in a different way. Who knows? But ride it out and
keep practicing.
Opera best, keep practicing and sing the best that you can and try and enjoy it when it does finally arrive.
Love that.
That's great. I think all the opera houses need to talk to each other and figure out something and all be on the same plan here and say, okay, great, let's try this, let's do this. And maybe that'll bring back some hope to everybody because that's the worst feeling right now. And you're not singing much online, are you? You're not doing.
I'm helping Wasvikani with the Grange Park Opera only because I adore what this woman does. She can bring people together, and she was a little bit like Peter Gelb of Metropolitan Opera, quick off the mark, onto that saddle quickly. Mm-hmm. I hear the Metropolitan Opera did really well from the home gala that they did. They've got more people asking about the Metropolitan Opera, more people giving money. Can you believe it? And the figures, close to 1 million people watching it. And that for me is just astounding. So something to be learned from there in the business sense, business acumen that you need to maybe sharpen now to the future. Yeah. We have to find different things now and maybe put it on ourselves. Who knows?
It needs to change. Opera in my opinion, needed to change before this. And I think that this is the pivot that is going to make people start to think of different ways of presenting opera, different venues, all of that. And digital, online, whatever, but I think it has to happen.
In Wales, in North Wales, I had a festival and it ran for 9 years. It did really well. I mean, we had an opera night, we had a Welsh rock night, we had a musicals night, and an evening that was totally different. But the opera nights, we had some great singers come over, and I was watching with Hannah last week some of the singers that came to my festival. I was watching Simon Keeneside singing Valentine's aria from Faust, and I remember Simon saying, "How can you make this work? It's a sheep. It's a field for a sheep, and you've built a stage there." Well, for 9 years it was successful until people decided, well, maybe entertainment, I don't want to spend my money on that. I want something different. So the 9th year was a tough one because we always made money that the government had given me. They gave me 100,000 to put on a festival. And if I made a profit, that would go straight back to that pot to keep it 100,000. So that money would go immediately to the next year. And funny enough, people like, these boy bands, they need to be paid 35% 8 months in advance before they even arrived there. Even Shirley Bassey, paid before. Jose Carreras, I had to do a concert in Cheltenham with him for him to come to me. I had to do a recording with Andrea Bocelli for him to come to the festival. And of course, when Andrea came, it sold 12,000 tickets immediately. It's just astounding. So am I saying that maybe opera should go outdoor? They've tried it in Verona, haven't they?
Yeah, it's happening. Outdoor concerts are definitely people feel safe, I think, with the outdoor venues right now.
No, I live in Nashville, and they've come up with brilliant ideas, like even for drive-ins. So you can tune in to the radio who's broadcasting the sound. I mean, we have operas on the radio every week here. So why aren't we doing drive-ins? So the orchestra's outside, everybody's outside. It's a lot safer for all of us to do that. I mean, why not? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't people talking about this? So
it'll happen.
Yeah, I love that. Drive-in.
That's kind of romantic too, isn't it? Drive-in opera, hey.
Yep.
Problem is in Canada, they've shut down most of the drive-ins because nobody was going. So yeah.
No, but now they're the ones that they haven't torn down, they're opening back up. It's really cool. Or they have restaurants here that have huge parking lots, and they're doing lottos you can get online and just sign up to be in the lottery, and you have to tell them how big your car is. And then they have 250 spaces, and those that get the 250 spaces, and they do it from a Thursday to a Monday night. It's brilliant. So, yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say to our viewers before we do our rapid fire questions?
No, I think we've covered most things. We've even talked about Wales and Emma Thompson and Sweeney Todd and work and cancellation.
Penderyn?
And Penderyn. I think we've covered most things.
Can you say something really cool in Welsh?
Of course, I could be rather tedious and boring and say Llanfair Pwll Gwyngyll Goger y Chwyrn Drobwyllan Tysilio Gogogoch, which is the railway station in Anglesey that even Stephen Sondheim has put it into one of his songs. But I think the word to love in Welsh, I can't say in Welsh, I love this whiskey.
No?
No, because the word to love is caru. So I can't say that I'm dwi'n caru hwn. I can't say that. It doesn't sound right. So dwi'n dy garu di, I love you, is one of the most amazing sentences that then you can say to your loved ones, because you cannot say it about a piano or a score or a glass or a phone
okay. That's amazing. Thank you.
I love you.
Aw, thank you.
Can you say that one more time?
Dwi'n dy garu di.
Dwi'n dy garu dwi. Did I say that right?
Dwi'n dy garu di.
Di. Dwi'n dy garu di.
Not bad, Carrie. Aw, that's fabulous. Thank you.
The gin.
We needed it today.
Thank you.
So are you ready for rapid fire?
Okay.
Who should
Wait
start?
a minute. I'll have a little
too. Cheers. Yeah.
I'll have to make sure that I don't swallow this piece of slate, though.
Oh, not on this video. I don't want to be
No. Sandra and Carrie. Kill Bryn. There you go. Screaming Divas. Kill.
It's officially over.
World famous baritone.
Okay,
wait, Who wants to start, Carrie? You want to start?
Sure. What is something you do that always embarrasses your children?
Well, I've got 3 boys, and I'm trying to think. There's a phrase that one uses. Can you do that for your daddy? Literally translated.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, "Can you do that for me?"
Okay.
So the boys, they absolutely do not react to the fact that I say, "Can you do that for daddy?"
Okay.
Aww. And how do you say that in Welsh?
It's in United Dad. Yeah. Can you do that for your father?
Aww.
I love that they look at you and say no.
Come on.
Don't say that, Dad. Don't say that.
What is your most useless talent that you have?
Oh gosh, yeah. I used to be able to flip my eyelids in school, and it would frighten all the girls.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh. That's a good one.
That's got to be useless, no?
Yes. Utterly.
So, but my mother would say, "Do that again, and it'll stay like that."
My mom said the same thing to me. Yeah.
Okay, what is your favorite cuss word in any language?
Oh, that's very difficult. I'd have to say, with 5 children, 5th on the way, of course. I can't say those big words, but bollocks is a word that I use too often at the moment. Bollocks. Even I've been trying to garden a little bit. I can't call myself a gardener, but clearing the garden better. But I've been swearing a lot, and that word comes out very often.
Okay, that's a good one.
3 words that best describe you.
I'd say I'm jovial. I'm loving. And what else? One more thing. There was a footballer from Wales, and he did really well in his profession. He played for Juventus and all these big clubs. And they used to call him the gentle giant, Il Gigante Buono. The Juventus fans would absolutely love it.
Okay.
John Charles was his name. So I'd say the gentle giant, if it's a one word.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
What is your favorite sound?
Oh, so boring. I love to do something that takes me out of my comfort zone. So in this profession, you need something that, like golf, for instance, is something that I absolutely love. And there are always constantly people on a board that want to play golf and show you their magnificent golf courses. So that sound, when the golf ball goes into that cup on the green, is just a stunning sound.
Yep. What's the most beloved thing that you own?
It is undoubtedly, Sandra, maybe you might think, oof, gosh, really? It's a facsimile that Ricordi brought out of the handwritten score of Falstaff. They kind of photocopied his handwritten score, and they brought out 711 of them. So I'm sure that you remember this librarian in Vienna, Peter, who's always constantly finding stuff. I'm sure he's finding them in the attic of the Vienna Staatsoper.
Probably.
He works for the archive, so he knew exactly what your fees were, and the price of whatever you were buying were exactly what your fee was for that night. And sometimes in Vienna, I got paid in cash, so I would pay Peter in cash.
Okay.
Of course, I'd have to put it through my taxes, but
of course,
that Ricordi facsimile of Falstaff is brilliant.
Cool.
Perfect.
This probably is a long answer, but I really would love to know this question. What is the worst or best costume malfunction you've ever had?
You went there.
I did. I want to know.
Yeah, I did Salome in Salzburg, and they started, it was a Luc Bondy production, and they started to have John the Baptist in a kind of furry animal kind of costume.
Okay.
And of course, they didn't want anything underneath, so when the light was in the wrong direction, the animal fur didn't really cover anything up. So I think they pulled it after the first stage dress.
I was waving at you.
Oh no!
So that is my one and only malfunction. And Catherine Malfitano said, "I'm glad you've changed your costume.
It was too much for her to handle."
Well, she was all constantly playing the role of Salome, of course. She was always underneath.
Well,
she wants John the Baptist. She wants to kiss him. She wants to touch his beautiful white skin. She wants everything, didn't she? And she got it all in the end.
She sure did. Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. What living person do you most admire? That's a tough one. I shouldn't ask that. That's a tough one.
I don't even know who I would say.
I don't either. Any person I
I was listening to some readings, working most probably for this gala performance that we might do for New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking what I could show in the program, most probably Dylan Thomas. But I listened to somebody reading his poetry and the things that he wrote for his parents and stuff. And Richard Burton was reading it.
Cool.
And I think if there's somebody that I would have maybe enjoyed, and he would have maybe opened the door to his dressing room to me because I come from Wales. Maybe not for anybody else. You know, these people from Wales, if I ring Tom Jones's agency and I say, "Can I bring a friend?" And they say, "Yes, of course, come to Las Vegas." And then they'll shine the light on the table that you're sitting, and Tom will say, "Welcome to Bryn from Wales." So I didn't meet Richard Burton, but of course, that voice and that incredible passion that he had for his country. I think on many levels we would have found certain things to talk about.
Cool.
That's nice. Yeah.
Are we at the last one, or what do you want to do?
Go for it, Carrie.
Okay. If heaven exists, what do you want to hear God say as you walk through the pearly gates?
Oh, goodness. Of course, one could quote Oscar Wilde or something like that in a "I'm very easily pleased, only the best will do." No. I would think that you're welcome in Welsh, of course, croeso, and you're in the first base section.
Not the tenor section, right?
Oh, because then I'd be joining the people that I adored when I was young. You know, singers like George London, for instance. And I was very lucky that Nora, his widow, gave me George's scores of Das Rheingold and Die Walküre.
Wow.
So I could see exactly where George had written breath marks and German notes and little eyes, where to look at the conductor, where to have the staff in which hand at which particular moment, godly, devilish, crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'd be there sat with George London, and he'd be still talking about his Firestone Presents, wouldn't he?
Oh,
Bryn.
Firestone Presents, boy. We're showing our age now a little bit with that one, but yeah.
Cool though, super cool.
I remember that. Yeah, that's great. I think that was a beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thanks.
We should let you go get back to your family.
Yeah.
But thank you.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you for hanging out with us, and congrats on your new little one that's on its way. That's exciting.
No.
Thank you. That's it now. No more.
You're done.
Yes.
There will be no retirement for you.
Yeah, you're running after a 3-year-old all day. It's incredible the energy that this little girl has. Trying to just come and... I've opened the score to Winterreise because I've always been afraid of this song cycle. But at last, I've looked at the first 10 songs at least.
Good.
But to get the moment, of course, at 8 o'clock, I want to be with Hannah and have a little dinner and stuff like that. But during the day, absolutely impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't change it. You wouldn't change a moment of it, I'm sure.
Absolutely not. Because 3 of my boys, I've always felt guilty, ladies, but that I was away. To be a parent, you have to be present in children's lives. I missed 2 births of my children. One was for a stupid rehearsal of Don Giovanni in Salzburg that Mortier called and Barenboim agreed and Cherot wanted. Why be induced? So obviously it happened naturally. Mortier put me on a private plane, waste of money, and got me to Biggin Hill. It took me 4 hours to cross London. So first child missed. Second was a rehearsal in New York because I knew I had to be away. I had to earn a living. I had to pay for food, for clothes. It was the beginning of one's career.
Right.
One had no strength or purpose to tell them, I'm staying home for a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even Levine or Jonathan Miller, of all people, would have said, Bryn, go home for the 2 weeks and come back for the stage rehearsals. So then, of course, I made sure I was there for the 3rd child being born, cancelled a lot of work and was criticized for doing something for myself. And I was there for Hannah and Lily, and for this baby, we're in lockdown, so I'll be here for that. So,
congratulations. Well, fingers crossed it all goes well.
It's things we give to this profession, but maybe people don't realize.
That's a whole nother topic, isn't it? The things that we give up and the things that we've missed. I can't tell you how many of my colleagues have said, well, I missed my parent dying, birth of a child, birthdays, holidays, weddings, everything,
But there we go.
We love what we do.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Oh, bingo. Well, thank you.
We'll see you on the road again.
Absolutely. Good. Absolutely. And stay in touch, okay? And
take care of things.
Okay. Bye.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
He's very private. He's like you and I are before this.
But he's really personable and funny, and I think he should... Oh, yeah, before the shenanigans. Shenanigans.
Isn't that a great picture, though? Can you, I'm sorry.
Please do that again.
That is me. That is me, and that is Bryn.
You guys look like you're 12. That's a great pic. You guys look wonderful.
Duncan, what year was that?
What?
Oh, shit. This was the pension fund gala at the Met.
99?
It was last minute. I had nothing to wear. This was the moment that I met Bryn, and I literally shit my pants meeting him. I was so nervous. And then he came and took this picture because I sang the church scene from Trovatore with Neil Shikoff.
Whoa. Have you had those experiences where it's a great time, you get along with all your colleagues, which is usually the norm, and then and you do all the rehearsals and you get to a final dress rehearsal, even sometimes with an audience, is totally fine. But something changes with certain colleagues on opening night where all of a sudden the energy that's emanating off of them is pure nerves, like pure fear, pure... Yes. And there's a moment where my body goes and protects itself. Like it just goes, don't pick up that energy. Because if that energy, I've let it happen. I didn't know that that's what was going on. I was young. I didn't know what the world, I just knew something was wrong. Does that make sense? And then, but that energy can propel you into I've gotten like this, or like,
oh yeah.
And so when I feel it, you immediately know it. I mean, I've known it because God, especially when I changed to soprano, that was a whole different ballgame. But because you're singing with tenors, sorry.
And you're singing all those high notes. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it was the first time I understood why sopranos and tenors were nuts. I was like, oh, this is why they act crazy. Yeah.
But then there's people like Bryn, who is so cool and chill and relaxed and rehearsals. And then you get on stage with him and he just radiates this energy. It's just
awesome. Like you. It's really cool.
Wow.
It's
I have to tell you, he's one of my favorite people to work with, because you go on stage and it's 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. When you're on stage with Bryn, it's like 1 + 1 = 50. He's such a generous performer and has this, he just radiates it, and he's a great actor.
You do too. It's a force, and it's super fun. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's a ride.
Can I see your earrings? I want to see your earrings. These were a gift, right?
Yeah, here, sorry. Yes.
Those are a homemade gift from a certain mezzo soprano that we interviewed.
Yeah, from an amazing mezzo soprano. And thank you, Susie. And when I opened them up in the mail, because we're not getting the mail that often anymore because we live in the petri dish of a condo building.
We don't either, so.
I'm like, who do I know in Burbank, California? And then I open it. Oh, wait. I open it and it's this really fun shoe card. And I'm like, and then I was like, I'm like, this is so awesome. I felt like I got a hug in the mail. Now I want to, I need to go in the shop and wear my mask and get her something fun from Nashville and send her some Nashville love.
You should get her one of those bracelets.
Oh, the Thistle Farms?
Yeah.
Oh, I should. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Or the candle. The candle was really nice too.
The candle's beautiful, right? Or their poop spray. Lovely.
Maybe not the best gift to give somebody you don't know that well.
Toilet spray. I don't know. She's from the South. She'll appreciate it.
Oh no.
I wanted to show you something. Can you understand what I'm saying?
What is that? Is that a game? That's the game. Yes. What's the name of that game? What? You watch your mouth. I need that.
The bathtub is filled with bubbles.
The bathtub is filled with what? Balls?
Bubbles.
Bubbles. Bubbles.
Did that make you laugh? Okay.
It does. Oh my god. Oh dear, we need that game. And then I add whoever the guest is. Okay. So I have all of that in notes. Okay. And it's easy, and I have our description of who we are, blah, blah, blah. That's good. That's
perfect.
Oh my god.
I love you, Sandra.
I love you, Dora. Oh my god, what a shitty day. Possibly a third.
Okay.
What flavor is that?
Vanilla.
I'm sorry, what? Vanilla? Oh god, you're funny. Which Power Crunch. How many calories?
220.
220. Oh my god.
Did that go flying?
Yes, I did. I did.
You know, you can dress me up, but we got problems sometimes. 220.
My name is Carrie. I'm giving you a big hug.
Big hug, too. What a shit day, man. I'm so sorry.
Jesus.
But I mean, that's 2 major opera houses done.
But the most disturbing about the San Francisco call was that Matthew Shilvach said he doesn't see opera getting back to pre-COVID ever.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
He said that all the studies that they've done say they don't see opera coming back.
Should I just go jump off my balcony now?
I think that's when a lot of people in the meeting started crying. Just for you.